Do rescue dogs remember their past? Welcome to the Cat and Dog House, where we help cat and dog owners better understand their pets. I'm Susan Nilsson and I'm an accredited cat and dog training and behavior professional. In this video, I'm going to talk about whether rescue dogs remember their past, and feature two of the many rescue dogs I've adopted over the years. Do dogs remember their past? The short answer is yes. Dogs can remember events and experiences, particularly those tied to strong emotions. In humans, memory can be divided into different types such as short-term and long-term memory, and can also be influenced by emotions. Similarly, dogs have memory capabilities that allow them to retain information. Dogs have a short-term memory similar to that of a 2 or 3-year-old child, meaning they can recall experiences for up to 2 minutes. This explains your dog's excitement after your return from a brief absence. Dogs can retain information, including the location of hidden items, over extended periods. There are many instances of dogs remembering their owners and recognizing familiar individuals, places, and animal friends even after several years. When a dog experiences an event combined with a strong emotional response, such as joy, fear, or excitement, their brain makes a connection between the event and how they feel at the time. So if your dog associates the sound of a doorbell with the thrill of a visitor arriving, he will likely get excited every time he hears the doorbell. But for some dogs, the doorbell ringing can be scary. So they might run away and hide, or bark excessively because they feel threatened by the stranger at the door. The intensity of the emotions linked to an experience, whether positive or negative, seems to have a big influence on how lasting the memory becomes for the dog. When a dog goes through a traumatic event, like abuse or neglect, it can have a deep emotional impact. The memory of the event gets tied to the negative feelings the dog had at that time and can have a big effect on how he behaves in the future. So if a dog has been treated badly in the past, he may become fearful or even aggressive in similar situations in later life. The memory of the bad experience triggers the same scared or defensive reaction. Single event learning happens when dogs learn from a singular, often distressing, event. Say a dog has experienced a past traumatic event, like a sudden firework exploding outside when he was in a deep sleep, or a tall man with a beard wearing a red baseball cap has physically hurt him. The dog will rapidly form a strong and lasting negative association between the scary event and the real sense of danger or fear he felt at the time. This can have a profound impact on his behavior for life, leading to a fearful, anxious, or even aggressive response every time he is exposed to a similar situation. Based on my experience living and working with multiple rescue dogs for many years, I have often seen behaviors rooted in fear or anxiety as a response to a specific trigger. Our Saluki-cross rescue dog Louie spent the first 2 years of his life chained up to a shack in the desert. When we first adopted him, he was very wary if you tried to touch him anywhere around his head or neck, especially if he couldn't see what you were doing. In the early days before he learned to trust us, he would snap at your hand, often drawing blood, when we tried to clip on his leash. Another of our rescue dogs, Pit Bull-Labrador cross Maggie, had been abandoned and rehomed several times before she was 3 years old. When we first adopted her, Maggie would panic as soon as she realized she was going to be left alone. She would engage in a whole suite of behaviors to try to stop you from leaving the house. She would mouth at your hand, grab onto your clothing, bag or shoes, or stand in front of the door to try to block your way. In both cases, Louie and Maggie's behavior suggests that they had learned from their past traumatic experiences. Sometimes, rescue dogs already know certain cues or words, like sit, stay, and so on. This tells us that they have retained some memory from prior training sessions based on behaviors being reinforced. On the downside, some rescue dogs may have a negative association with certain words, including their own name, if it was used in a punitive way by their previous owners. Some dog breeds have been selectively bred to have better memories, particularly when it comes to working tasks. Breeds that excel in working tasks such as herding or tracking often possess strong memory skills due to their breeding history and genetics. Other breeds may not have been bred for these types of tasks and therefore may not possess the same level of memory retention. However, this does not mean that all dogs within a certain breed will have the same memory abilities, as each dog is an individual with their own unique experiences and personality. A rescue dog will often display certain behavioral cues that indicate he may be recalling some sort of memory from his past. As we have already seen, one of the key indicators of memory recall is an emotional response. A rescue dog may exhibit fear, anxiety, aggression, or even excitement in specific situations or when faced with certain triggers. Pay attention to any unusual reactions your dog may have towards specific people, objects, or environments. These types of reactions could signify a memory association with a past event. If you have noticed some negative emotional responses in your dog and are trying to understand what is going on, the first thing to do is to find out what is making him react that way. Triggers can be anything from a certain noise or smell to a specific location or object. While some triggers may evoke negative emotions, it is essential to focus on creating positive associations with new experiences. Desensitization and counter-conditioning are two effective techniques used in dog training to modify behaviors and help dogs overcome fears, anxieties, or phobias. This technique involves gradually exposing a dog to a stimulus that triggers fear or anxiety in a controlled and gradual manner. For example, if your dog is afraid of loud noises, such as fireworks, desensitization would involve exposing him to low-level sounds initially and gradually increasing the volume over time. Counter-conditioning is a method that pairs the feared or anxiety-inducing stimulus with something positive or enjoyable for the dog. The aim is to change the dog's emotional response from fear or anxiety to a positive association. For instance, if your dog is afraid of strangers, counter-conditioning may involve having unfamiliar people offer treats or play with the dog, creating positive experiences that help to alleviate the fear. By associating positive experiences with previously triggering stimuli, you can help your rescue dog replace negative memories with new positive ones. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on cat and dog behavior. For more in-depth content about cat and dog behavior, check us out at catanddoghouse.com.